Started the car to warm it up, and it somehow got moved into gear, then rolled down a hill, pinning her underneath. It took LFR about 15 minutes to get the car off of her. Good news, though, we're told the woman is alert right now and is expected to be okay.
There was a crash near 40th and Normal Boulevard this morning. There was quite a bit of damage to one of the two vehicles that was involved. Police did block off a portion of the road for a while. Everything's back open now. No report of any serious injuries, and the cause is still being investigated. Authorities found more than 200 pounds of marijuana after a traffic stop.
It happened yesterday on I-80. Police pulled over 65-year-old Timothy Harris for following another vehicle too closely. After searching the vehicle, police say they found 203 pounds of marijuana and 6 pounds of THC wax. Harris was taken into custody. The Nebraska Safety Council is starting a monthly initiative to engage with the community about a variety of different safety aspects.
They met at Gateway Mall today to focus on driving safety. They had a driving simulator set up for people to try driving distracted with a cell phone and driving maybe under the influence. The goal here, show people how dangerous it can be while doing it in a safe environment like this.
We're showing people really when you're impaired, you're not thinking clearly. So when you put those on in this sort of an environment, it's an opportunity to realize exactly the health risk and safety risk that impaired driving presents.
Also at the event today, they had a table set up for people to get their blood pressure checked. The Nebraska Safety Council will have different events at Gateway Mall the first Friday of every month for the rest of the year. A constitutional carry bill has made its return to the Nebraska legislature. Last year, it was squashed by just 2 votes.
Channel 8's Mackenzie Johnson was at the legislature today and spoke with Senator Tom Brewer about his bill. Mackenzie?
LB 77 was introduced yesterday by Senator Brewer for the 2nd year in a row, and today he announced it would be his priority bill for the session. He's met some opposition by senators and both Lincoln and Omaha police forces in the past. The bill will allow people to carry concealed handguns in Nebraska without a permit. Right now, to carry a concealed handgun in the state, you must go through training and a background check before you can purchase a permit. Brewer made some adjustments to the bill this year and hopes he can gather more support. Still, not everyone is on board.
This year we have a lot of new faces, so we think there's more support for it. And that combined with the fact that we've cleaned it up so it's easier for folks to understand, feel good about its chances this year.
If people are going to be next to me in the grocery store and they want to bring their gun, I think it's not too much to ask to go to some training and get a background check.
Even if the bill passes, you would still need to get a permit if you wanted to cross state lines with your weapon. All of the states bordering Nebraska, except Colorado, currently allow permitless carrying. We're going to hear more from gun rights advocates tonight at 6.
Looking forward to the rest of your story. Mackenzie, thank you very much. In national news, the House of Representatives is back in session today, taking another stab at electing a speaker. And a major surprise, Republican Kevin McCarthy gaining more support than he has had the entire week.
But a bitter fight between Republican members continues to block him from actually winning enough votes to get the speaker's gavel. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington with the very latest.
Within their borders.
4 days into floor votes to elect the next House Speaker, Republican leader Kevin McCarthy at last picking up momentum. Cheers on the House floor as more than a dozen of the anti-McCarthy holdouts moved into the GOP leader's support column, cracking the ultra-conservative coalition against him. McCarthy. This amid back-to-back losses for the California lawmaker. But even with the progress, McCarthy still lacks the votes to claim the speakership.
The last 4 days, they haven't been ideal. They've been difficult. But I do see fighters. I see patriots who love this country and want to make things better.
Friday afternoon, just after his 13th straight loss, McCarthy projecting confidence that he has the votes to win tonight.
It just reminds me of what my father always told me. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And now we have to finish for the American public.
The GOP leader reiterating his latest round of concessions to the so-called rebel Republicans who have refused to lend him their support, including a change to the House rules to allow just one lawmaker, Republican or Democrat, to trigger a vote to remove him as Speaker. While some have flipped in his favor, the remaining ultra-conservatives claiming never Kevin are still holding their ground.
Mr. McCarthy doesn't have the votes today. He will not have the votes tomorrow. and he will not have the votes next week, next month, next year.
And after McCarthy lost his 13th vote, the House adjourned until 10 p.m. tonight. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
We now turn to a solemn anniversary. It's been exactly 2 years since the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol.
2 years ago, this was the scene at the United States Capitol as insurrectionists tried to stop Congress from certifying the 2020 election results. Today, the Capitol was silent and solemn, a remembrance for the 5 people who were killed, including Capitol Officer Brian Sicknick, who lost his life defending the Capitol. 140 officers were also seriously injured that day. President Biden hosting a ceremony at the White House awarding Sicknick with a Presidential Citizens Medal.
History will remember your names. They'll remember your courage. They'll remember your bravery. They'll remember your extraordinary commitments to your fellow Americans.
The White House says more than 950 people have been arrested in connection with the Capitol riot, and the investigation and prosecution of those responsible continues to move forward at an unprecedented speed and scale.
All right, let's talk about weather. Happy Friday, everybody, and hopefully you enjoyed some decent weather today. Here's meteorologist Jessica Blum in for Rusty.
Yeah, we actually saw temperatures in the middle 40s for a high temperature today. Some spots even nearing 50 degrees, if not reaching that 50-degree mark today. We saw winds pick up just ever so slightly out of the east by about 10 to 15 miles per hour just to give us that push into the middle 40s. And as you can see, that snow cover, not having any snow on the ground, really made an impact for us in southeastern Nebraska. High temperatures in Valentine's today, where some more of that snow is, only 21 degrees. So it certainly makes a difference at this time of the year. Looking at Beatrice, it's South 6th and Perkins Street tonight. The sun's setting and a beautiful sight as some of those stratus clouds start to cover the sky tonight. We're actually going to see an increase in some of the cloud cover as we go forward into the evening. But right now, temperatures right around 41 degrees in Beatrice, 39 in Firth, as well as 40 in Weimar. Expanding a little bit across the area right now, seeing some 37s out there towards the Tri-Cities, 34 in Wahoo, as well as 29 in Columbus. But again, heading into the next several hours, we're going to drop into the 20s and eventually the lower 20s overnight, and then into the upper teens for a low temperature to start out the day on Saturday. And then the cooler day of the weekend's really expected to be on Saturday. Might see some stray flurries with a system developing just to our south, but it's really going to stay dry, and then we'll start to rebound in terms of the temperatures on Sunday again with a lot more sunshine returning to the picture. So, of course, more to talk about coming up later.
All right. Thank you, Jessica. The Buffalo Bills saying safety Damar Hamlin has had his breathing tube removed, and he is talking. The 24-year-old was able to talk to his family and teammates today.
Head coach Sean McDermott said Hamlin FaceTimed into the team meeting. When players saw him, they stood up and clapped.
The thing that makes me laugh is he did this to the guys, right away. He flexed on them, I guess. And he's just got some staple things that they know him for and that he does. I mean, he made the heart symbol probably more than anything. And then he gave him a thumbs up. So, and then somewhere in the midst of that, and it was a little bit hard to hear, but he, as you'd imagine, he said, I love you, boys. And of course, I think I got the guys.
Hamlin has been hospitalized and suffering an on-field cardiac arrest following a hit during Monday night's game against the Cincinnati Bengals. On the Fanatics website, Hamlin's jersey is now the most purchased jersey among all athletes across all sports. The sports merchandise and memorabilia company says it will donate all of the proceeds from his jersey sales to his Chasing M Foundation. Still to come on the news tonight, utterly terrifying. That's what one man said after a UPS truck came crashing into his home with his 3-year-old daughter inside.
That story coming up after the break.
The cleanup continues today after a very scary moment near Hickman, and it's a story you'll only see right here on Channel 8. A UPS driver caused more than $55,000 in damage after crashing into a home in southeast Lancaster County.
The homeowner, Zach Barton, spoke one-on-one exclusively with Channel 8.
Terrified. It's utterly terrifying to think that I'm in my own house and I'm not even safe.
Yeah, it was a dangerous Tuesday night for Zach Barton and his 3-year-old daughter. They were in their home in Holland, which is southeast of Hickman. They had just left the playroom area of the home when the driver of this UPS truck lost control, hit a parked vehicle, a utility pole, and then crashed into the side of the Barton's home there on South 96, hitting right into the room the two were just in.
We were in there 10 minutes before putting away all of our toys that she had out, and we were just cleaning up, and we finished, and I was starting dinner, thankfully, because otherwise we still would have been in there.
Yeah, Barton says contractors think the entire front portion of the house is going to have to be removed and completely rebuilt. By the way, Lancaster County deputies say the 37-year-old UPS driver had an open container of alcohol in the delivery truck, but was not drunk. She was cited for careless driving.
Now, your Storm Alert team forecast with meteorologist Jessica Blum.
Well, happy Friday, everyone. You officially made it to the end of the week, and with this Friday comes a full moon, which is going to be our first full moon of the year, also known as the wolf moon. But unfortunately tonight, again, the moon behind me, not to scale actually, because it'll actually be hard to view. We'll have clouds that'll be increasing over tonight that'll make some of this view a hard one to see, and it's actually an apogee in terms of its position, in terms of the orbit as it orbits around the Earth. Actually going to be its farthest point away from the Earth, so it's going to be hard to see in terms of its size and these clouds playing against us. But of course we'll talk about a little bit more of that coming up tonight. Aurora right now, Penner Bathing Solutions camera, beautiful size. The sun starts to set, some lower level stratus clouds out there right now and a light breeze, but beautiful day out there and still pretty nice in terms of some of these temperatures. 37 degrees in Aurora right now, still 40 degrees in the capital city, 41 in Beatrice and 44 in Hebron. 44 is just a few degrees lower than the high temperature we saw earlier in Hebron that almost reached 50 degrees. So again, it's been very nice in southeast Nebraska, but quite colder in terms of some of those places around Nebraska that are still seeing snow on the ground. Certainly Valentine and some of these areas off to the north are certainly going to be colder in terms of their low temperatures and their high temperatures for some time, as some of those higher snow totals are playing a factor in some of these temperatures at this time of the year. But satellite and radar currently too showing some of this cloud cover over most of the state right now. Southeastern Nebraska has been quite clear today for mostly sunny skies, but there's been a little bit more cloud cover off to the west that certainly played a factor in some of those high temperatures today as well. So let's go forward into tonight and kind of see how some of this develops. We see most of this cloud cover over the next few hours, maybe a stray snow shower going into this evening through central Nebraska. It's going to be light in nature, but this low pressure system that's going to develop off of the Rockies is going to develop just to our south and eventually give us a small chance to see some flurries tomorrow, late morning into the early afternoon hours. Again, this is about 9 a.m. We could see some stray showers in southeast Nebraska, and then the model tries to kind of say that this precipitation could be freezing and snow, but the profiles are going to be cold enough for snow if it can reach the ground. It's really going to be dry air that's going to play into this system and likely not give us much of anything, and if anything, flurries, especially for extreme southeastern Nebraska. So that's kind of what we're looking at tomorrow. Partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies throughout the day, and then we eventually clear out by the late hours of Saturday into the early morning hours of Sunday. But tonight, low temperatures in the upper teens. Again, we'll have those increasing clouds. Not ideal if you do want to see that full moon, unfortunately. And winds are going to be pretty light out of the northeast at about 6 to 8 miles per hour. So looking across the area, it's going to be pretty similar in terms of some of those temperatures. A little bit warmer in some of those spots that got up to almost 50 degrees today. And then off to the north, could see some lower teens, 12 degrees in Columbus, where again, some of those transitional period in terms of some of the snow cover that's still out there as well. But looking at the day tomorrow, we'll try to reach the freezing mark, but likely not get to it as we see that system come through and bring some colder air, some northerly winds with it as well. 31 probably going to be the high tomorrow, and then some temperatures in the 20s as well. And then we'll start to rebound on Sunday. 42 a high on Sunday, that sun returns, and then the temperature is going to be into the upper 40s on Monday. We're quiet for some time, and then we're looking at the next possible system coming through on Thursday that may give us a chance to see both rain and snow with that system, light in nature and not amounting to much. But again, we're going to be quiet and ping-ponging around in the 40s for some time, maybe a few 30s in there too, but really going to be quiet for some time.
Yeah, not much going on in that forecast, but thank you very much, Jessica, for keeping us updated. A positive day on Wall Street today, the Dow gaining 700 points. NASDAQ is up 264. S&P also adding 87. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
Coffee shop honors a loyal customer, and a man is reunited with a treasure from the past.
We have those stories and more in tonight's Take a Look at This.
A Lynn, Massachusetts Dunkin' Donuts pulled out all the stops this week to help one of their favorite customers, Fred Brown, celebrate his 95th birthday. The Air Force veteran was honored with balloons, donuts with his face on them, a hug from Mascot Joe, and what else but 95 Dunkin' Donuts gift cards.
Oh my God! I'm rich!
It was a moment he never thought would happen. Troy Heller was reunited with a message in a bottle he threw into the Atlantic Ocean back in 1985 during a trip to Vero Beach, Florida. After floating in the sea for 37 years, a family found Heller's treasure when it washed up on the beach after Hurricane Nicole. Thanks to the details then 10-year-old Troy put in his note, his name, address, phone number, the Carmex family was able to track him down and mail him back the original bottle.
I thought I'd just throw it out in the ocean and just see where it went, you know, and so it's just amazing that it finally found its way by.
A giant portrait honoring Boston's goodest boy has been unveiled ahead of this year's Boston Marathon. Spencer, a 13-year-old golden retriever, has been cheering on runners for the last 9 years with his Boston Strong flags. And in 2022, he was named the official dog of the 126th Boston Marathon. But the sideline favorite is reaching his own finish line as he battles his third cancer diagnosis. While he might not make it to this year's race, his family hopes his portrait will be there to lift spirits in his place. Good boy, Spencer. Good boy. For Take a Look at This, I'm Amanda Sansoni.
And finally tonight, there's a baby on Capitol Hill. Thankfully, he's not making any decisions yet. This little guy is the son of California Congressman Jimmy Gomez.
With the House Speaker race dragging on, Gomez is navigating his job in Washington along with daddy duties, bringing his 4-month-old son, Hodge, to work. Gomez brought his family to Washington to watch him be sworn into Congress for a 4th term, but that ceremony put on hold until a House Speaker is chosen.
Little feetsies.
Yeah.
Can we get one final check of the forecast, Jessica?
Yeah, not a whole lot going on through Saturday. We might have some flurries, especially in extreme southeast Nebraska tomorrow, and 30s for a time, but then we rise quickly back into the 40s Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then by Thursday, when that mix is possible, we drop into the 30s again for a time, but it's going to be pleasant for now.
All right, thank you, Jessica, and thank you all for joining us.
World News is next. See you back here at 6.
With the Channel 8 News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
We only do one thing at Comfort Made Mattress Factory, handcraft the highest quality mattress possible. It's backed by a lifetime comfort guarantee. Come see us.
Closed captioning on Channel